Hey everybody, welcome to the Lunar Lowdown with me, Sally Nurney. This is the lowdown for the full moon in Taurus and Scorpio, June 9th, 2017 at about 7 in the morning Mountain Time. For this full moon, I really want to take us back into the context within which this moon is happening. Generally, we're focusing on a very small slice, a 2-week window, but nothing happens in isolation. So to do this, we're going to need a chalkboard. Hocus pocus. Okay, to put us in the appropriate astrological context, we're going to talk about the movements of Pluto and Uranus over the last 50 years. Pluto and Uranus are slow-moving planets. Uranus takes 84 years to go all the way around the zodiac, and Pluto takes almost 250 years. Contrast that with the fact that the moon goes around the entire zodiac in 1 month and the sun in 1 year. And so these two come together in a conjunction, like a new moon, in front of the same place of the same constellation only once every 111 years and as long as 145 years. It takes a long time for them to come together. Let's build our star field within which we can play. My purpose in bringing forward this larger astrological context is the same purpose that I have for presenting the Lunar Lowdown every 2 weeks. By understanding the astrological context within which we sit, we can begin to relax and not take personal responsibility for the climate. We can begin to see what is ours and what are the conditions within which we're working, and then we can gain empowerment. That's the point of this. Pluto and Uranus were together in one of their rare conjunctions in the 60s in the constellation of the Lion. We have the benefit of hindsight, and we understand the 60s as a cultural revolution, a time of great change. We can see that the environment of the 1960s was co-emergent with the themes that Pluto and Uranus bring us. And then as time moves on, so do they, with Uranus a bit swifter than Pluto. And by the time 2012 rolls around, we find Pluto in Sagittarius and Uranus in Pisces. This relationship we call a square. They're at a 90-degree angle to one another, and it's confronting like the conjunction. With the hindsight that we have, understanding what these two bring, and I'll flesh that out in a moment, they were square to one another from 2012 to 2015. And you can even go broader and look at the years 2009 to 2016 to see the co-emergent themes of Pluto and Uranus. What are those themes? Pluto is king of the underworld. He's Hades. He is the one who seeks to mature us, grow us, evolve us past the limits of our frail ego by getting down beneath the surface, looking at shadow, going down into the layers of the onion, and getting the stinky skeletons out of the back of the closet. Pluto's energy is deep, can be dark. It's about unresolved issues of power and control. Uranus is interested in liberation, freedom, the ability to innovate and change things for the better. He does this through sudden change, explosive change even. Uranus is a visionary seeking unorthodox, untraditional solutions, and therefore naturally challenges the status quo, the way things have been. Are you beginning to get a sense of how these two might work together? Think back to the civil rights movements, the assassinations of outspoken leaders, the race riots that we saw during that decade of massive change. And now think about movements such as Black Lives Matter, the Occupy Wall Street, and the wholesale disintegration of the status quo, all the way up to the highest levels of power in our country. We can look back to the 60s to understand that in hindsight, it all may look like fun and games, but at the time, those things were very frightening for those people, and yet things moved forward and we came into another era of rebuilding and re-establishing new forms and new shapes and new institutions. I'm suggesting that that's what's going on now. Let's go back outside. What we're seeing globally is unscrupulous, selfish, low-minded individuals moving in to build the forms that they want to see. After such a global cleansing of Pluto and Uranus, exposing what's not working and sweeping away forms and breaking things down, this is a natural part of the cycle. When things are wiped away clean, we move in with new forms and new visions. So yes, it's a time to not sit back and let these people build the forms they want without participating by offering the forms that we want. This full moon is another layer of choosing what to build and what to allow to fall away. This is where we are in the annual cycle of the Taurus new moon and full moon. This is the time of constructing, inviting, imagining, and holding form so that they can be infused with force and become living beings in our world. This smaller annual context is nested within this larger Uranus and Pluto square and previous conjunction. I felt that by understanding that, you might feel more empowered and understand what's going on a little better. So you are, I am, we are at a crossroads now. It's time to choose how you want to populate your world. Consciously choose and dig into what you want to create now. The scale, of course, is up to you. Even acts of personal change immediately have a global impact. So don't feel intimidated. Instead, play to your strengths and find the scale within which you work best. Personally, intimately, relationally, locally, globally. It's up to you. So I'm asking you to examine how you are dealing with your own judgments, your own toxic thinking about what's going on in the world. Even if others are behaving badly, and they are, where does your judgment make that any better? Are your actions of defiance and resistance truly life-giving, or are they toxic to you and others? This can be tricky territory, obviously. It's completely natural to respond to these audacious acts with deep primal feelings. But this full moon is a great time to see that from the full moon light of Scorpio and to dig into the life-giving forces of the bull to harmonize that. Come into communion with both of these beings. Sit within them and allow the lemniscate to flow through your heart of the life and death forces sitting on either side of you. Take the time, because do not mistake for a second that they haven't worked it out, that they haven't figured out how to make life and death swoop and swim together beautifully. You'd be a fool to not sit and take advantage of that high vibration. Feel the union of form coming into being and form dissolving away. When I opened to the bull, I was met by the inexhaustible life stream that comes from that place in the heavens. And I was reminded that as rational human beings, we have been coerced into believing that we have to be informed to be worthy, that we have to watch the news. Sure, stay informed. That's fine. But this inexhaustible life stream that's pouring down upon our planet is something else that is happening in the world. They're just not reporting it on the news. So I'm here as your news flash to tell you that if you want to be a rational human being who's tuned into what's going on in the world, that's something that's going on in the world that would benefit you and your ability to be a strong container for life force and to create strong containers for your dreams, visions, and intentions. When I tapped into the Scorpion, I felt a sense of adventure and liberation. I heard Scorpio exhorting us to redeem death and simply put our fears to the side and play at the threshold of the next mystery. Return to the resonance between the bull and the scorpion again and again to be able to meet your life alive and awake. Aho. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.